How are you?
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So nice to welcome you to Newburyport. Welcome to Brick and Ash. So shall we go inside?
Absolutely.
Yes,
yeah,
please.
after you. Wow.
Yeah, this is a pub. This is where I want to drink.
Yeah, me too.
It really is.
So before it was the restaurants of the last so many decades, or what was it in the beginning?
It was a brothel.
It was, okay.
In the late 1800s, and that's where the legend of Lucinda comes, the story of her as the lady of the night. You know, the legend has it that she was thrown down the stairs and died and has been haunting here. You know, the city had a terrible fire at the turn of the century, 1811. So I'm sure that that could have contributed also to, you know, some of the lore that's here.
So you were telling us about the activity that goes on here. Now, you've had
Yes.
tons of experiences yourself.
I was working early 80s as a waitress here, and I was behind the bar. All of a sudden, I turn around and I see two empty wine glasses that were sitting on the table just fly into the fireplace and smash in pieces. I sort of looked around and picked up my speed a little bit in terms of
Because most people would have gotten out of it. Yeah.
Well, I had work I had to finish to close up the restaurant.
A lot of people would have just thrown that to the side and said the hell with it.
Well, I just, you know. I think the most frightening event that happened to me here was I'm walking up the stairs, and then all of a sudden, I felt this breeze coming up behind me, and I could feel the hair on the back of my neck, and I turned to look, and there was a young girl. I was frightened, I have to say. It was definitely time for me to get back downstairs and close up and go home.
Wow.
So what other type of activities going on here?
I reached out to Laura Wolf, the owner of the building, and I was interested to learn. The new staff have been experiencing this also.
When we bought Brick and Ash back in 2016, we really liked the look of the building, and we felt like what we could do here would be something great for the town. And then I started realizing the building had a huge history of ghostly happenings, and we were not alone in this building.
Soon after Laura took over the place, she and her employees began to hear and see things they couldn't explain.
We're by ourselves at night. The doors are closed. The building's secure. We hear people walking around.
We've definitely heard footsteps over the downstairs bar, women's high-heeled shoes walking pretty fast across the upstairs dining room wooden floor.
After they renovated the 200-year-old building, the paranormal activity seemed to escalate.
From the downstairs bar, we've had glasses come off the shelf, tequila bottles fly off the bar. The big one was the come up here to set up and open the restaurant. Out of my peripheral vision, I'd see an old captain staring out the window in one of the leather chairs in a grey suit with a top hat. And then as I turned, he was gone.
And once Brick and Ash opened its doors to the public, the activity spread to other parts of the building, most notably the basement.
I was putting money in the safe downstairs, and a book flew between my legs and hit the safe door. I turned around and the only person in the office. I slammed the money into the safe, set the alarm, and left the building as quick as possible. I was terrified.
As an owner, I feel responsible for all the employees, and they haven't been hurt, but they've come close. I'm definitely concerned about everybody's safety.
We really covered this place with a tremendous amount of equipment to document anything that happened throughout our time here.
And we were able to have a bunch of experiences very similar to what you all have experienced throughout the years here.
Okay.
Steve and I were up here investigating at one point. We were at the other end of the bar, and we heard walking, and the walking sounded like it was coming from above us, but there was nothing there.
It sounded like right there.
Like up top?
Yeah, I heard it twice.
Yep. Definitely hear it.
Yeah, you can hear it. You can hear movement all around.
Definitely.
So, at another point, Dave and Steve, while they were investigating, they were able to hear the door slam.
9-3.
Whoa!
Really?
That door didn't necessarily open and close because they would have heard it. This was a sound manufactured without origin.
Wow.
This town has just an incredible amount of history.
Yeah.
Every time we dug, we just kept on hitting more and more different layers.
While investigating the legend of Lucinda, we learned that John Quincy Adams once stayed at a local boarding house and wrote a poem about a Lucinda. But we were unable to corroborate that a prostitute by that name was murdered here. And while we figured out that the sea captain apparition might have actually been a postmaster named Bulkley Emerson, that discovery didn't produce any evidence. But there were a few other names that ultimately proved critical in solving this case. Back in the 1600s, Elizabeth and William Morse owned a 4-acre lot where Brick and Ash now stands.
Dave and I, we were communicating with somebody, and we thought it was William Morse, who, you know, his wife was the supposed witch. William, can you touch that device like you've been doing?
So that was amazing enough to us.
Oh my gosh.
And
Oh
when
my gosh.
Well, when they start bringing up the whole idea of the witch in the trial, it stops.
But here's where things got tricky.
There was one gentleman by the name of William Swamp who lived here in the 1800s who died of typhus fever.
Wow.
Behind the bar while we were up here investigating, there was a male voice that showed up. Nobody over there.
Yeah, that's weird.
It sounded like somebody walking and then like a, oh. Strange thing is, when we first listened to it, we got a name, but it was a name that we didn't know until later when we started researching. We'll play it with this at first and see if you're able to hear it. So you heard that? Yeah.
No.
Oh, boy,
Oh my
that
God.
went like from my feet
That
to the tip
is-
of my head.
I know.
We didn't hear it when it happened, but we caught it on the recorder. That was before we even knew of William Swamp.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
We used the name William, that's when the devices went off. So we were just thinking it was a different William.
Wow.
And a lot of times, especially when it comes down to intelligent type spirits, think you spend hundreds of years walking around, nobody acknowledges your existence. They can get angry, annoyed, frustrated, trying to move objects to let you know they're there. So that could explain objects being shoved, objects being thrown. But now that we have a name, it'd be interesting to see if, hey, William Swamp, okay, if activity just dies down because, hey, he's being acknowledged, so he's happy that somebody knows that he's there.
I'm definitely feeling a lot more relieved. Like, okay, we know what's going on in this building. We know who is here, who has been here trying to get our attention. I think that we're gonna have a drink named after him now.
Oh, there you go.
I think that's a great idea.
That's a great
I wonder,
idea.
like, what he liked. What did they drink back then? Rum?
You probably.
I know this area was big for rum running. So.
So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.